Rosalyn Briar is a USA Today best-selling and award-winning fantasy author. She is married to her soulmate and has 3 daughters. Rosalyn loves reading, traveling, and hiking. When she isn't reading or writing, you might find her playing dress-up or gleaning through the woods for wildflowers with her princesses. Rosalyn, take it away.
All right, thank you. So in this scene, it features the main character, Mirabelle, who becomes the wicked fairy from Sleeping Beauty. And at this point in her life, she's enslaved to the king who extorts her for her fairy magic. And she's forced to find a canvas or a man that she can draw her healing powers from to heal soldiers who have been cursed under an enchanted sleep. So this is where she's at. She's desperate and she's trying to change fate by changing the ritual. Mirabelle dropped a piece of charcoal into the cauldron and lit it with a trembling hand. Once tendrils of smoke stretched toward the sky, she added acacia for renewal, wormwood and sandalwood for purity, juniper for lust, and nightshade for binding. Some soldiers called it her love spell, but it was nothing of the sort. Her ritual couldn't create love or lust, but discovered it. Having been deprived of her own free will by the king, she would never do that to someone else. Closing her eyes, she let the aromas heighten her senses. Streams of crackling magic coursed through her body, threatening to undo her. There was always so much darkness she tucked away deep in the caverns of her soul. For a moment, she thought about her mother, how Mirabelle had wanted to spin gold, but Xylena wouldn't allow it. Her mother would never allow her to attempt any sort of magic. Your life will be better without it, little spiderling. A tear slipped down Mirabelle's cheek as her childhood screams invaded her mind, as did the flesh-ripping sounds of her mother's punishments. She would desperately beg to use magic against the guards who whipped Xylena for not producing enough gold. I can do it, Mother. A gust of frosty air whipped through the field and returned Mirabelle to her senses. The soldiers stared at her, waiting. They knelt in silence with their arms crossed over their chests, and the only noise came from the crackling bonfires all around the field. She sprinkled dried rose petals, vanilla, and musk into her cauldron. The decadent aroma not only pleased her, but was meant to attract a lover, for that was the only way she knew to bond with her canvases. She gave them her body, nothing more, and in return, they gave her their hearts. Near the ritual's end, she hesitated. Loneliness clawed into her bones like the cold, and she missed her mother more than ever. So Mirabelle did a foolish thing. She slipped Sweet Pea into the burning cauldron, hoping to attract a lover and a friend, a soulmate. She bent over the pot and allowed her ragged whispers to set the embers aglow, spells turning the dried ingredients to flames. A pillar of aromatic smoke rose into the air where it mingled with the ever-cloudy sky, and she gripped the cold hilt of her dagger. As she lifted it to the sky, her magic grew inside, strong and true. Cool, flowing rushes streamed through her veins. All the while, boiling currents burned from her heart to collide with the force that made her wail in agony. She dropped her dagger onto the table and rested her palms against the smooth, worn wood. The pain in her chest spun itself tightly around her heart and tugged outward, connecting to where or to whom she did not know. Why did it hurt her so? Had she performed the ritual too many times? Had she asked for too much by adding the sweet pea? She blinked away the tears swirling her vision and met the captain's glare. Shaking, Mirabelle raised the dagger to her palm, where there was a scar in the shape of an ancient rune. This one, a simple circle with a straight line connecting 2 stars. She had never learned what any of the symbols meant. Her mother had never taught her about the fairy enchantments. Nevertheless, Mirabelle could see them glowing in her mind when she needed them. It was that raw, untrained magic that had frightened Xylena the most. With the tip of her dagger, she traced the rune at the center of her palm. The scarred skin broke open with such deep pain, Mirabelle gasped. When the shape was complete, she placed her palm face down above the cauldron, letting the smoke seep into the wound. She made a fist, digging her fingers into the open flesh, and dripped precious rubies of her blood into the cauldron. It bubbled and sizzled against the coal with a coppery scent, and a fresh burst of smoke rose into the sky, crackling with silver and gold sparks. Mirabelle's mouth ran dry and her legs wobbled. She leaned against the table to gaze up at the smoke while her eyesight betrayed her, with wisps of darkness hovering along the edges. The cloud of smoke and sparks swirled high above the field as the soldiers watched with wide eyes. Bursts of tiny explosions in the smoke grew brighter, like a galaxy of stars. She grew even weaker as the magic churned and spelled the name of her new canvas. Sparkling letters began to take shape as they burned against the dark sky. They always started randomly, backward, upside down, and out of order. Then, twisting and twirling, the golden letters became clearer and organized themselves into a legible name, which you'll have to read to find out. And I'm also giving away a signed copy of her Dark Enchantments with this giveaway.